What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here at Torq Hub. On today's episode I'm showing you guys over my buddy Liam's project ute. Now he dropped it off a few days ago, and I've just come in the shed to take a bit of a look at it. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to give you guys a bit of a look at it as well. I can go over the driveline combination or the engine combination with you guys. I can show you all the parts that we've got for it that are the reason it's come here. I've got a heap of fabrication to do on it, mount fuel cell, cooler piping, a whole heap of just little bits and pieces like that. So we'll go over all that stuff. I'll give you guys a bit of a rundown on what he's going to use the car for, and just just basically a general overview. I think it's a pretty cool project myself, and I thought you guys might enjoy it too. So stick around if you're into project car stuff, and we'll go for a bit of a look. For all the Holden guys that have just subscribed lately, it is not a Holden 5 litre, unfortunately, but we will get there. We'll get some more Holden content for you guys soon. But I did say on the other project video on Rob's turbo tonner that we were mixing it up with a bit of Barra stuff and a bit of small block Ford, and we've got a few other things in the pipeline, but we've jumbled it around, and I may well have lied to you a little bit with mixing it up after Rob's ute anyway, so come and check this out. Another turbo LS. So there it is. It's another turbo LS. Now relax all you turbo LS guys, okay? I'm just joking. I know they're great. I know they're the be all and end all, unless of course you're a Barra the world fiend, and then Barra's the be all and end all, and so on and so forth. But anyway, turbo LS makes a hell of a lot of sense these days. Easy power. Tons of parts, blah 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 blah. We know they're great, and Liam, he's done a great job of going this route as well. He's a smart man. He's much smarter than I am trying to do anything with the old Holden V8. But anyway, that's for another discussion. General overview of the car. This is a stock bottom end LS2. It has a, I'm not sure, it has a big cam. You know, it came out of a, we removed the engine out of a VZ Maloo, and that was a part of the Camden Slams Brigade. The young fella sideswiped a street sign, I think it was, or a street pole or something like that, and so we got the engine out of it. This ute has some really nice parts on it, and it's going to turn out really nice in the end when it's all said and done. He's spent good money, brought all good, a lot of Australian made good parts in it, and it should make good power. It's just going to be an all-round great sort of street car, but essentially we're building it to do the radial racing up at the Perth Motorplex, so go and have some fun with those guys. So what I'll do is I'll grab the camera and give you guys a bit of a closer look. So first things first, let's address the biggest thing in the room here. Is the turbo. Very popular turbo these days. This is the Borg-Warner S480 SXE, so that means it's got the billet. It's got the billet wheel in it. We'll have a look there. Let's have a look. So it's got the billet compressor wheel in it. Now this is the T6 variant. This one, actually, we went a little tighter on the turbine than what we probably really needed to. We bought this turbo a little while ago. Well, when I say we, I mean Liam. Liam brought this turbo a while ago, and it has the, I can't think you can see it there, but it's got the, I think it's a 115 turbine AR on it, but that is the 96mm wheel, your standard Borg-Warner wheel, T6 flange. The turbo kit is your no-brainer killer boost, done by Darcy and the boys over east. So as you can see, it's a nice header and crossover combination. It's all steam pipe, all your usual deal kind of stuff. They do a great job. I was originally going to do the manifolds, but when he started making them, I told Liam it's a no-brainer, you know, buy a set. So next thing we've got here is you can't tell, and the reason you can't tell what this radiator is because I think Liam has shares in blue and green low tack masking tape, because it is on everything. Either that or he thinks I'm a ham-fisted mongrel that's going to wreck all his stuff. But either way, this is a super nice custom made PWR radiator with a spout fan on it. It's a good piece. Also, we've got here, this is the Holly 95mm billet throttle body. We've got some work to do with that as well. Anything else at the front here? Oh, I'll just tell you guys, the general aesthetics of this ute, it's still got the VP guards on it, but it will have VN guards on it. It's got the VN bumper just very, very loosely sitting on it right now. But it's going to, he's doing it up like a VNSS. So we've got all the mouldings. He hasn't got the sticker kit and whatnot, but eventually this will look like a VNSS ute, even though they never made a VNSS ute. But anyway, he's stripped it all out. I suppose I better go over why we've stripped out the interior. We'll be doing a 4-inch dump pipe off the back of this turbo here, and Liam, what I would normally do is put a hole down behind the strut tower here and then loop it under the chassis rail, but Liam actually wants to notch out into the firewall here, so we're going to do a firewall scallop, I guess you'd say, for less of a better word. I'm going to scallop all that out, put new sheet metal in there, and that will give us our room to put our 4-inch dump pipe down and under the car there. So that's why we've stripped out the inside, because there's going to be some sparky boys and whatnot going on around there. So that's why we've done that. What other metal work have we got here? We've got a fuel cell here that needs mounting. We'll be mounting that in the center over here. And we've got a heap of other stuff as well. We've got Astra Power steering pump and battery and, you know, all that sort of carry on. But this car will be running a Power Glide transmission as well. We've just got like a stock Power Glide case bolted onto the engine at the moment. When we get a bit closer to when we actually need the thing to fire and run, Liam will spend the money. He's getting a Paul Rogers reed case glide built for it then, but for now we've just got the stock case in there for mock-up purposes, and yeah, like I said, he'll swap that out before we get going into any real stuff. But that's a general overview. Now I'll show you guys some of the parts that we got to fit, intercooler and all that sort of stuff. So I've got that on the bench and in the back there, so let's take a look at that. Okay, so here's one box of goodies that Liam dropped off with the ute. So we've got a 4-inch donut halves there. We've got some 4-inch piping, and we've got some 3.5-inch piping, and we've got these awesome bloody things here. Now, if you haven't seen these before, these are plasma clamps. Now, I've opened this one here before, so take a quick look at this one. These are the ends that get welded onto your cooler pipe and whatever else, if it's on your throttle body or your intercooler or just another bit of intercooler piping. That's what that is. And you've got this really nice Plasma Man clamp that goes over the whole lot. Leak free, trouble free, really easy to fit, a lot easier than mucking around with bloody silicone hoses or anything like that. We've got some straight pipe here. We've also got some more in the car as well. What else have we got? We've got the turbine outlet flange and clamp. Liam sourced that from Darcy and the guys at Killer Boost as well. So if you're looking for one of those for your Borgie, hit those guys up. They can get them. They make them and whatnot. So what else have we got here? Trying to do this one-handed's never easy, but give it my best go. There we go. Now, Liam went all out. Like I said, we've used a lot of nice Australian-made parts, and everything in here is Australian-made so far. Plasma Man. The bends have been sourced from Plasma Man as well. Here we've got this blow-off valve. This is a race port that Liam brought the Sleeper series from Golby's, so everything is black on black on black, which is, I like that, so that's a nice piece there. We've also got, this is what needs to go in the back of the tray. Liam still wants to use power steering, so we've got a bracket coming from Chubby's Garage, or Low Fabrication, or whatever they're called now. So that's on its way. Saves me having to make one, and we'll mount that in the tray somewhere. Next thing we've got, more Australian made goodness. We got the Powergate 60mm wastegate, and if you look closely it says compressed gas on the cover, which I'm not actually sure what the difference is between the compressed gas and the normal one. I'm guessing it's maybe a different diaphragm inside or something like that, but yeah, I would say it's just the diaphragm. And the reason we got the CO2 one is because, of course, we're going to run CO2 in the for boost control. So it's a little bit more than your average street car, but it's still a very basic sort of combination. These get done all day, every day, all around the world. It's all proven combinations, so it should be a good thing. But anyway, what else have we got? Let's take a look at what's in this box. Oh, that's right. Now this is what I alluded to before. You can see all the green low tack masking tape on absolutely everything. Liam's done a cracker job of making sure I don't wreck his bloody awesome Plasma Man intercooler. I don't know if you can tell by the writing there, Plasma Man. So this one is your 500, or I think it's a 490 by 400 core, 100mm thick. Now this fits in the front of the VNs pretty good. You only need to do a little bit of trimming. So it fits a little bit nicer than your typical 600, 300, 100. And yeah, it's a good thing. That's, like I said, the fuel cell. This one's, I think this is just an aeroflow unit. I'm not even sure how big it is. But it's not a huge one, but it's not the really small one either. So we've got to put that in the back there. And yeah, this is inside the car. You can see it's a nice little Momo wheel, and Liam's already done the ratchet shifter for the power glide. He's got a nice custom center console and stuff to go over it as well. Got some 3.5-inch piping there. And actually what I'll do is I'll grab one of these clamps here. So what we're doing with the piping is it's going to be 4-inch piping off the throttle body, and it'll be 4-inch down, and then we'll step down to 3.5 on the underside, and then plumb it into the intercooler there. So what I have to do is there's heaps of little bits and pieces that I might need to stuff around with to get this all to fit, because 4-inch piping is bloody huge. So I've got to weld this plasma clamp ferrule to there, and then I've got to get the 4-inch bend. I've got that donut in the box, got to get that around, and at the moment I cannot do that. There is not much room there. As you can see, this is 4-inch. There is not much room there. By the time you use a short radius donut, I think you're at like 140 or something centerline radius. So what I need to do is I need to get this radiator as low as I can and as far forward as I can to allow myself enough room to get that bend around. I've still got to mount the intercooler obviously as well. Now another problem that we ran into, I'll just put this there. When you close this bonnet, we don't really want to run bonnet pins, so that'll be the first thing that you think of when I tell you the next problem we're going to have is why don't you just put some bonnet pins either side. We don't want to run those, we reckon they look ugly. Want it to sort of be as street looking as we can. So as you can see here, that's the bonnet catch there in case the spring fails. So this comes down, and when you push down on it, you can see it hangs through. So I'm going to modify this, shorten it up as much as I can, and I may even redesign it a little bit, make it out of a little bit stronger material so it doesn't have to be so long through here. And because with the intercooler, the 500, 400, or the 490, 400 core or whatever it is, the intercooler really does need to be like almost slammed up the top. It needs to be as high as you can in order to not hang down too low here, because it's taller than it is wider. So I need to modify that as well. It's just all these little things that I'm sure if you've modified cars before, you can attest to. You know, you modify one thing, you need to change 27 other things at the same time in order for it all to work. But that's all fun and games, I guess, with doing it. So yeah, we've got cut some holes in here. We've already cut out around in there. We might do a little bit of boxing in, neaten it up a little bit, but we're honestly not going to go super crazy this is not a show car. This is definitely more street race than it is show, but it should be a good thing in the end. It should look pretty sweet, and it'll go really good too. So Liam hasn't decided exactly what he wants to do with the engine, as far as we're going to do the stock bottom end thing for a while, or maybe, you know, do your gap in your rings and head studs and all that, or he might even throw rods and pistons in it. He's sort of undecided with what he wants to do at this point, but for now we've got tons of fabrication and just little fiddly bits and pieces before we get to that. I guess the other stuff I could go over is the fact EFI wise, he's going to run a Holley EFI, either a HP or a Dominator, probably a HP. They're pretty capable for basic setups like this one. You know, Digi-Dash, single injector on that manifold, just all the basic stuff. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty excited to get started on working on it. We've got heaps of little bits and pieces. We've also, if I lower this radiator, that was the other thing I was going to touch on. Once I lower this radiator, we start running into issues with the radiator not being the highest point anymore. So we'll have to make up, there's about 2 or 3 or 4 ways that I can think of that we could do this. So I haven't decided on what way we'll do, but we will probably have to have a reservoir of some sort either here, or whether we do the standard sort of Commodore, late model Commodore LS expansion tank up there, or whatever. But we're going to have to, we've got some AN, whatever I think they do a kit for these where you can take these off and they have AN fittings on them, and we can do all 4 steam ports, and we might just do a reservoir here, and to get, you know, to get the all the air out of the system. But like I said, you change one thing, you've got to change bloody 27 other things to get it all to work. But we're going to try and keep it as simple as we can, as light as we can, and as fast as we can, and still be able to drive it on the street. I suppose we can go over, while we're talking about EFI, the cell's going in the back here. I think we're going to be running an external pump down here somewhere. Liam's got his heart set on one of the new Aeromotive brushless electric pumps. I think maybe the 5-gallon one. You can get them with a speed controller, or you can use the Holley to control the speed as well, I'm pretty sure. So when you're driving on the street, you know, you have your pulse width modulation right down, so the pump's just turning over, not getting your fuel too hot. And then obviously as you start laying on the loud pedal, you know, the EFI system or the pump controller or whatever can tell your pump that you need a little bit more fuel, and that way you don't cook your fuel like you do with your old, when you've got like about 4 or 5 or 6 Bosch 044s stacked in a line trying to do it like the old school way, which is probably 2 or 3, not 4 or 5 or 6, but I like to exaggerate things a little bit. So yeah, like I said, heaps of nice parts, but we're going to try and keep it as simple as we can. And yeah, I'm just going to tick away on this one. This one won't be like the build series that we done on the Tonner, where it was a weekly, you know, this week, next week, like it was. We won't be doing, a lot of our projects won't be like that. It will just be, we'll probably have a few on the go at once, and we'll just catch up with each one at different stages. So yeah, it still should be pretty good though. We'll try and keep it entertaining anyway, because this is what we're doing anyway, so we might as well film it. We're not going out of our way to try and do anything too crazy, but we'll show you guys what we're doing, film along the way, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy what we've got coming at you anyway. So that's basically going to wrap up today's video, I think. I know it's another Turbo LS, but it's still a little bit different to Rob's one. It's a little bit more serious. Should be a little bit more fun. I'm excited. Diesel's bloody excited, as you can see. He's pumped. And yeah, we should be having a good time doing this build anyway. So I'm hoping that you guys are keen to keep up with our updates with this one. If you haven't subscribed already and you want to keep up with this one or any of the other stuff we've done, hit the subscribe button below. I'm glad all you guys are liking what we're doing so far. So yeah, that's really good to see and good to hear. So anyway, until next time, take it easy.